I promise you won't be disappointed. Welcome home. Today, we're going to talk about how important it is to not overspend when buying a home in the Bay Area. Hi, my name is Casey. We are a team of realtors here in Silicon Valley. If you're thinking of moving out here and looking for a home, we'd love to help. If you're thinking of selling your home, we'll love an opportunity to interview with you. Okay, let's get to the topic. Overspending on a home. Why is not a really good idea? Now, I understand you're moving out here to the Bay Area for the new job, and you think that you're going to be living here for a long time because you just fall in love with the area, the weather, the beach, the mountain. I mean, I love it here. Diversity, the food, there's so many things to do. So you want to settle here and you want to purchase a home. That's a really good decision because unlike other parts in the country, the equity gain in the Bay Area is really great. So let's say if you purchase a home at the right time, in the several years, you can sell it, walk away with a big chunk of equity, or you can rent it out and do all kind of things with it. But now, let's say you're thinking of purchasing a home. You go to the bank and talk to the lender, get yourself pre-qualified. The lender then would look at your debt to income ratio and come up with a number that you could afford. Almost always, the lenders that I see in my experience, they always overqualify for an applicant. What does that mean? It means they will stretch your budget to purchase a home more than you could afford. So the important question to ask the lender is, okay, I understand that I can purchase $1 million, $1.5 million, or whatever number is. What is the monthly mortgage payment, include tax and insurance? And then when you look at that monthly mortgage payment, you will determine if that is doable. My rule of thumb is 1/3 of your salary should spend on mortgage. Because there's other factor in life besides paying for mortgage. You want to go travel. You want to be able to eat out. You want to be able to help your family in case if they have financial needs, right? So when my husband and I bought our first condo, our rule of thumb was the mortgage payment and everyday spending will be on my husband's salary. And then whatever I bring in would be for investment, travel, and helping our families. So if you are a couple, highly recommend you doing that. If you are single, then you should pretty much look at 1/3 of your salaries or maybe a little bit more. What people usually make a mistake is to buy more than they could afford. What does that mean? It means the mortgage is too large because you want to be in the Pacific area, a Pacific school district, and the mortgage literally take both of your incomes, or wipe out one income and a little bit of the other, and then everyday expenses. That is why people living paycheck to paycheck, even though they have a big salary. And I understand buying a home is an investment, but you don't want to just spend all of your money on mortgage and not have a lifestyle and not be able to travel, not be able to see the world, not be able to do anything for the kids because all the money just go toward mortgage. So I think the best actions here is to, one, consult with a real estate agent. Most real estate agents would recommend you the same thing. Talk to the lender, determine your monthly mortgage payment that you could afford, and then from that number, calculate into the purchase price instead of the other way around. That way, you know exactly how much you're spending every month along with other expenses. Another element to take it into your consideration is the location of the home that you're going to be purchasing. Most of the time, people would choose to live very close to work. So let's say you're working in Mountain View, which is a really popular city that have a lot of different company. One of the really big one is Google. People want to live there. If you buy a home in Mountain View, it would be pretty pricey for, I would say, a single individual, even for a couple. But if you go a little bit further, meaning either Sunnyvale or just go a little bit to Santa Clara, to San Jose, yes, the commute time going to be a little bit longer, but then you'll be spending less money on mortgage. So highly recommended if you are thinking of buying a home, consulting with a real estate agent, an experienced real estate agent, to kind of learn about the areas, learn about your option, and make educated decision. Another thing that I always tell all my clients that I have never overpay for a home, and you shouldn't either. Real estate have season. We have pretty busy season where multiple offers and you have to, pay more than the asking price. You have to bring in the money to gap the appraisal if the offer was so much more than the actual value of the property. And then we also have slower season where things just prices drop 10, 15%, houses sitting on the market for a long time, nobody is looking, and there's more inventory for buyers to choose from. So it is important to know when is the best time to buy, when is the best time to sell, and kind of take action from there. If you're in a situation when you really need a home and really need to buy something, still, I truly believe if you are looking for a home, your home is waiting for you, and most of the time, you don't really need to overpay for it. In case of overpaying, I do have, not really my client because it was one of my listings. I sold it 2 years ago for $1,775,000, and it's literally down the street from my house. Pretty interesting. I think that's how we found this neighborhood because I was selling that home and I just fell in love with this neighborhood so much. Anyway, so I was working for the seller. I was selling that home. Some buyers with a different agent bought the home. And at the time, we were in a multiple offer situation. I believe I have 9 offers, and that offer was the highest, 1,775. So we accepted. Now, fast forward 2 years later, which is today, they're actually selling their home again. And I was talking to the agent that's selling their home for them of why are they selling? They've only been living there for 2 years. Also, they bought it really high when the interest rate, yes, interest rate was lower, but they bought it at the peak of the market. So the agent explained that the 2 young individual lives here but works in Peninsula, and they spending 2 to 4 hours a day commuting. It's just very tiring. They don't have time to spend with one another, so they decide to sell. And I did my calculation like all the real estate agent would do. If they sell it today at the top of the market, they're probably going to get 1.7. They bought it for 1,775. With real estate, with realtor fee, closing costs and everything, they're probably losing around $150,000 to $200,000. And again, going back to not overpaying, if you overpay for something, you should plan to be there for a long time. So let's say if you're overpaying for a home here, you should plan to be here for 10 years. Because after 10 years, it will increase, 30, 40, could be 50% in equity. But if you just bought it and you try to sell it 2 years later, you might have to take a loss. But then talking about timing, right? When to buy, the best time to buy, the best time to sell. In our case, me and my husband, we bought this home in 2012, 2022. Yeah, 2022, I believe. And that's when the market is slower because the market was really hot. And then, of course, when it's too hot, too overpriced, obviously the buyer will drop out, take a break, and then we have a lot of inventory on the market. So we sold our condo and we got pretty good return for it after 3 years. And we were looking for a single family home and we found this home. If we would have bought this home in a peak market, this home would probably go for 1.8 to 1.9, but we bought it for 1.425. And at the time we thought, this is the best value ever. Interest rates a little bit higher then, but it's okay. And fast forward to now, which is 2 years. So in California, I think across state as well, if you live in your primary residence for 2 years, when you sell it, you don't have to pay capital gain. Well, you get $250,000 tax-free for your spouse and $250,000 tax-free for you. So if we sell it with less than $500,000 gain, we don't have to pay taxes. So we're actually thinking of selling our home this year. And in June, it would be hitting 2 years mark of our home. Our home already increased $300,000. I kid you not. Today, if we sell this home, it's probably going to sell for 1.7 or even over because our neighborhood is very beautiful. The home that we choose, we have double lot. So we have a really big backyard. And the home itself is pretty updated. When we moved in, we actually did some work as well. So I think we're going to sell it this year. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, talking about timing, talking about not overspend. So if you're thinking of moving out here to the Bay Area, let's have a conversation. I would love to sit down if you're thinking of buying your home. We can analyze to see if this is the right time for you to buy, which area would be the best for you to invest, and if buying even an option for you right now. Because in the last video, I did talk about renting versus buying in this market. So check out this video over here. I'll link the video below, but this is my information. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you for listening.